Incredible flavours, even better stories. One pour, 10 minutes. Aussie bourbon lovers sharing bourbon with Australia.
Oh, nice one. Great.
Is that okay?
Yeah, now tip it in the glasses for us.
And tell us what we're
What are we
drinking.
pouring? Yeah.
We are pouring a Russell's Reserve single barrel pick from Kitty Hawk and what's his name? Harry Stubbs from 2019.
Oh, cool. And tell us about. Well, wait, hang on. Before we get going, H, this is
Yeah, we got
Denver from Denver and Liley. These glorious glasses. Hey, cheers, mate. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Sante.
Sante, yeah.
Skål, prost, campaign, Ostrovia.
Oh, you've got them all going.
good things.
Oh, yes. That's amazing. So maybe before we go too far, it's the Russells, so it's from the Wild Turkey people?
Yeah. So the family that runs Wild Turkeys are the Russells, owned by Campari now, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, they're still involved. So Eddie and their dad, what's his name? Jimmy Russell, and the son.
Is it Bruce?
Bruce, exactly.
You guys are better at names than me.
Yeah, just an absolute collector here. So they still run the thing. So Eddie and Jimmy still rocks up to the shop. So you guys have been in there.
We haven't yet, but we want to go. But he's always in
yeah.
the gift shop. Is that the?
Yeah, he
Yes.
just he has his Lexus and he just drives his SUV basically on the nature strip in front of the shop and then gets out. He's pretty old now.
Yeah.
We'll sit down and have a chat in the gift shop. He
so
still
good.
rocks up to work, and I don't know. I think he might be over 90 now.
Yeah.
But yeah, amazing. Just
That's when you know you love your job. When you're still out to work.
yeah. I think he's just part. He's so integrated into that facility.
Yeah.
And it feels like his home, like literally his home. So, he just goes in and does his thing, and then just cruises out whenever he wants to. And
So good.
really good.
So,
Amazing.
How does this story go? So your name's literally on the box and on the glass. How does it go that you go from just enjoying a nice pour, or where did it come from? Where did the bourbon interest come from for you?
Bourbon interest. So we started the company, Liley and I, in 2015, I think, somewhere around there. And it's just basically we released glasses of stuff that we're just drinking at the time.
Yep.
Don't follow any trends or anything like that. It's just no market research.
Just things you enjoy drinking.
Yeah, and the technical aspects. So both of us were into engineering, both industrial designers. So just the technical aspects, and the whole business wasn't meant to be a business. I can't remember if I told you the story, but it was meant to be a Christmas present to a family and friends. The whiskey glass, the original one, which we'll look at later. But that was only meant to be 100 glasses, and Liley was taking 35. I was taking 35, and then we were selling 30 externally. And a friend's blog at the time helped us sell those 30 externally, which was Broadsheet in Australia. And the whole company started because we were talking about parking at Chatston, which is a big shopping mall in Australia. And we didn't want to do that. So why don't we just design a whiskey glass? And so it started from that whiskey glass and then went to a gin glass. And then we just happened to be drinking more bourbon. So why don't we do a bourbon glass? But the first thing that we did was do a research trip to the States.
Because this thing fascinates me. So everyone drinks bourbon out of a few different glasses, right?
Yeah.
It's a handful.
Yeah.
So what happened? How did you decide that you wanted to do something different, and what were you going to do?
Yeah, we were just told, there was a reasonable following from the States at that time for us. And a lot of people were, over here, people were kind of arguing, why do you need a bourbon glass? And we're just oh, I'm not sure. I wasn't drinking as much bourbon as I have at the time. And I just thought, the best place to find out is to go to, go to Mecca.
The expert panel of trialing and testing.
Well, Liley and I first go and just don't tell anyone. We just go and rock up, go and try everything and, enjoy. It's not just the technical aspects of understanding bourbon, but for us, it's the cultural experience as well. So how does that fit into a culture?
Yep.
So we look at food and music and a whole bunch of different things and just engross yourself into Kentucky and Tennessee essentially. Go to different things, go to gigs, go to whiskey bars, and also the distillery. So
Yeah, and you can't help but fall in love with it.
yeah, we got into it. It was pretty fun, but it was really eye opening because how could you be using a whiskey glass that's designed for grain, for malted barley, and then try and fit that or shoehorn that into this culture, which is a completely different beast.
That's
because they're looking for different things.
Yeah.
People are they're enjoying it at a temperature that's 20 degrees Celsius different to the other one.
Yep.
And also the process and just understanding all the technicalities, which we're quite technically capable. Lily's not in the business anymore.
Yep.
Moved to New Zealand. But yeah, we're technically capable, but I think we go well beyond that. And I don't think any of the other companies can they don't put the value on it. It's not that they can't afford to do it. They just don't put the value on culture, I think, as well. Whereas we do. So like, our wine glass that just came out, that was an 8-year project. There's no other company that can do that in the whole world, like to do R&D for 8 years.
Yep.
They need to get it out there and get money back for the shareholders.
That's fun.
Yeah.
How fun. And then in terms of like what we're looking at and how you kind of get to that this shape, which is such a cool shape. And it's like, the thing that I love about this is, go on, can you nose this and tell me, like, I reckon, and because we've spoiler, we've had some of these at home. And so side by side, these are, you get that, it's the nice chunky, almost rocks glass kind of hole feel, but you still get the tulip shape.
Yes.
But then a good size opening, so you're getting lots of that
Aroma.
beautiful
Yeah,
aroma.
aromas.
Like it's
and you don't get that kind of, I find the ones with the narrower tops, you get that very wafty alcohol often hits you in the face first.
Yes.
With this, you don't get that.
No, because the shape is designed to blow off that volatile layer. So, especially with something, what's this sitting at?
What is that sitting at?
What's your guess, actually?
10 something, 105 maybe. I don't know, making it up.
110.
I was drinking well.
Yeah, 55. So it's beautifully made. So a lot of these single casks are kind of like that. You get like magic once.
Yep.
So it's really, really cool. What was the question?
Well, it's like how much science, how much art goes into something like this?
Okay, yeah. So basically, we look at how people are enjoying bourbon, and then we hear from those people that are making the bourbon the absolute source of truth as to how they want it to taste and smell.
Yep.
And the skill that we have is then taking those words and then turning it into a physical form. And I'm not sure why the other companies haven't done that. I feel like if you were to design any product in any other realm in the regular world, like a microphone or a car or a pair of shoes, you ask the people that
What they
have
want.
what they want.
Is it more of the tradition? That's the traditional glass that they've always had, and it'll always kind of stay that way.
The other glass.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about
You can say it. You can say it. It's what we usually drink out of. It's a Glencairn.
they're all-
Yeah, Glencairn.
It's all version, like every version of those glasses are all kind of smaller or larger, but the same shape, same.
Yeah, it's a commercial decision as opposed to experience decision.
Yep.
So if you are after a very cost-effective A to B bourbon glass, it seems strange, but I guess you're buying a whiskey glass.
Yep.
And they've got great distribution and really it's really good at what it does, like a Toyota Corolla.
Yep.
Like it can get you from A to B, very reliable, really cheap to fix. Like, you can just get another one anywhere.
Yep.
Whereas our thing is the pinnacle performance. So we make Formula One cars and we don't make anything else.
Yep.
Both of them can get you from A to B, but in very, very different
ways.
manners. It's a completely different experience. But if you're prioritizing performance over everything else, like we do,
Yep.
then you'd buy probably our glass.
Yeah. And this is this thing, isn't it? So, if you're drinking a bottle that you can get at Dan's and you haven't spent too much on, it's totally fine to put that in a Corolla. But if you've taken something off the shelf that you've invested in or someone's given you as a really special gift or something like that, that you really want to rip into and experience everything from, well, then you're doing yourself a massive disservice by not spending a fraction of the price of the bottle on a glass that you'll enjoy it in.
Yeah, I would even argue, like we drink everything out of our glassware at home, but like even sort of like, in the States, I'd be buying, I can't remember the name of it, with the green label. It ended up getting various awards.
Blanton.
Not a Blanton's.
There's a lot of green labels then.
Yeah, it was sort of around sort of $30.
Okay.
We'd try and get the best whiskey we could for $30 in the States. And this showcases their work like incredibly well.
Yeah.
It's like completely slipped from my mind.
But it'll be one of
It's
their
a
bottling
mystery to
bonds. Is it like one of those ones that they have in their They're like cheap as chips,
Yeah.
but they've got heaps of them. Everyone, you can get them so easy.
Yeah,
Is
it
one of
was
those
at the. Oh my god, I've completely drawn a blank. I think it was in 2019, 2020 that it ended up becoming like it won some World Bourbon of the Year or something like that.
okay.
But prior to that, I've been like telling like close mates about it and not telling
Everyone.
I'm telling them like don't tell anyone else.
So he's pretending you can't.
And they're all single cask, that one, and yeah, it was like $29 like for years. And then all of a sudden it just shot up because then the demand went through the roof.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are so many great bourbons like below even I could pick a few under 50
And you
in
make
Australia.
them taste it even better by using these.
Yeah, you frame like what we're aiming to do is just frame the work that they've already put in.
Yep.
There's so much craft and even terroir and all of those things that we talk about in wine that exist in bourbon. It just doesn't have the same limelight, I guess, or same sort of I don't know why people. It's some sort of strange connotation in the world that it's not of the same ilk as wine or whiskey and stuff in some countries, but it's just not the case.
Well, you can get them readily. You can get them on your website, and you can get them at a few of the big liquor stores around the place as well. Can you everywhere around the world? People listening overseas?
Pretty much, as long as it's not an active war zone. And there was another thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I can't remember the other condition.
There's a couple of
There's
rules.
there's
why
only
you
two
can't do it.
conditions.
Okay,
Yeah.
but if you're in a safe place, drinking, enjoying bourbon, you can probably get your hands
Pretty
on it.
much, you can get them. Yeah,
And
anyway,
mate, this has been magnificent. Thanks for sharing this. We're going to have you back for more episodes because there's so many more stories to tell.
Yeah.
But really appreciate it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mate. Cheers. Thanks, Denver. Oh, it's hard to do the third cheers.
is this the fourth wall or whatever they call it? I know we've got to go out there.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you're connected with us on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube, and stay connected with us by clicking subscribe on your favourite podcast app.